Okay, this is a brand new WHM install CPanel. We're going to start from the very beginning. This was installed by the hosting company. Now I'm going to walk you through step by step to show you all the settings that we need to take care of in order to start using the cPanels for different hosting accounts, how we set up the websites and domains, email, subdomains, and so on. First, I'm gonna go and provide my information here. My email is already in here. That was provided to the hosting company. Now I need to provide my phone number, which I'm gonna paste in here. So I'm going to save that. Okay, we got our email and our phone number set in the system so that we can receive notifications, about eventual updates and what's going on the server. So now let's just start from the beginning. We're going to go to the very first link here and see what we have. Over here we have our email and our phone number, our IP that's assigned to the server, and all these other settings. We don't need to know all of these settings, but we're just going to go continue. A second link from above, it's the place where we can change the root password. So if you want to change the password of your password access, you can change that here on this page. Make sure you write it down, not to forget it. Then the third link, let's see what settings over here. I don't think we need to do anything here. We're right now at the trial period. I don't know how long that is, maybe a week or two, maybe even a month. But the hosting company will probably, once I'm over a month, they're probably going to just activate the full license. So let's see over here what we have. Cron jobs, which are tasks which you can set to run in specific time periods on an hourly basis, daily, weekly, or monthly, whatever. You can set those up and connect with the script. I'm not going to go into it now. I'm just going to go through the whole setting here. So you can set them up to run specific script on your server for task automations. Not going to do that now. Anything, it's just here, so you can use it if you need it. Initial quota setup. Okay, let's see what it says here. Okay, we are on CentOS 7.8 right now. I'm gonna skip this for now. I'm gonna go just with the basic settings that I set. I'm not gonna mess with any settings that are not crucial with the initial setup. So over here, server nodes, not sure what that is. Not gonna mess with this. It's experimental feature anyway. Server profile. This is also experimental. Server time, that's going to be the time of the time zone where your hosting company is located. Right now it's showing me UTC, which I believe is London time, which is 10 in the evening. I'm in Chicago, so for me it's going to be Central. CST. Probably you can just choose by the nearest city. In my case, Chicago. Okay. So my time right now is 4:49 p.m., which is correct. Next, statistic software configuration. Not going to touch anything over here. Terminal. This is a place which you can use to run command line commands here. You will have also SSH access to your server, but in case you can't connect for some reason and you need to troubleshoot or find out what's going on with the server, you can use this terminal in the web browser directly. Just gonna do like, sorry, just to see where we're at. Okay. No such directory. Okay, that needs to be then created. There is no backup directory here. Tweak settings. Let's see what we have here. We're gonna leave it all default values here. We're not gonna mess with any of this right now because the default settings will most likely work for us. I know I did some tweaks on my latest server I had before this one, but I don't remember exactly what it was. I would need to look that up. So I'm not gonna mess with any of this right now. Go to the next. Preferences. Okay, nothing here. User local CPanel size 50 giga, and then home directory. We have almost 2 terabytes. These are the partitions, disk partitions. Use a local panel. So there are 2 partitions here. So they divided. On my last server I only had this partition. It was just one disk. It looks like over here the CPanel settings and everything that goes along with the settings will be stored on this partition here for the CPanel, and then your files in your home directory, in your account files, they're going to be stored on this partition. Okay. Over here, Marketplace, this is new. I have not seen this before. That's probably some more tools which you can add or buy to add to CPanel probably. Okay, so far there is nothing here. Just this what I already have, which is CPanel and WHM. Okay, over here you can send tickets, support tickets to CPanel. Over here you can create logins for people for the support people who need to log into your CPanel in order to help you out with whatever issues you might have. support center. Here you have some links and documentation and forums where you can look for answers in case you run into trouble and need to find out solutions. So you can find this here. Over here, not gonna mess with this. Change host name. Let me see over here. My old server. You don't have nothing over here to touch. That's been assigned by the hosting company. You don't have to touch this one. This is how you can access your host without having any domains on the cPanel. Later on, you can, when you add domains, you can change this to be one of your domains, but I would just keep it, I would just leave it like that. I would not change it. So it's always independent of any domain that you have on the system, because sometimes domains, they do expire and you want to let go of them. So you might forget to change this here, and this might become unavailable to you. If that domain expires, you don't want to let go of it. Resolver configuration, there's nothing here. Where are we now? Okay, now we're going to the security center. Mode user directory is disabled. System disabled. Any changes then make this interface. Okay, on my old server, this was enabled, but over here it is disabled for security reason. I assume it would be better if you just leave it disabled for right now, because that makes our server more secure. I'm not going to mess with that right now. In case I will change it, I will show you in the subsequent video what I did, but I will consult my hosting provider or my hosting company to see if I need to change this. If you change any of the settings, you will have to recompile the Apache. This is a compiler here. Over here you have security policies. You see what I had on my old server. My old server, none of them were checked. Configure. Okay, this interface provides the configuration setting for security policy to apply to cPanel, webmail, and virtual host manager on your server. Limit logins to verified IP addresses. Okay. I'm not going to do this right now because I might do it later. I will limit the login to my two home IP addresses later on. But in case you're going somewhere, some other office or somewhere outside of your home, and you need access, you might not be able to access it. So for right now, I'm not going to do that. I might actually use this one to be able to use two-factor authentication. I'm not going to mess with that right now. Let's go to CP Hulk. This is a good protection for your server, and this is by default on. So I'm not going to mess with that. But over here, you can add whitelisted IPs, which means, okay, it says over here that my IP, which I'm on right now, it's not in the whitelist. So I'm going to just add it to the whitelist here. So let's see. Added my IP to the whitelist. So no additional security checks will be applied when I'm trying to log in from my IP. Over here you will have IPs that try to brute force their way into your server, you will have in these history reports, you will have IP addresses which try to get into your server, and then you'll be able to sort by IP. I believe you were able to sort and see how many attempts they had and what username they used to try to get into your server. And then when you see an IP repeating itself many times over, you can just take that IP, copy it, put it here into the blacklist, and let's say you put some let's do this again. Let's say this guy here. Let's see how many times this guy was trying. Over here I see 20 attempts using different username, admin, administrator, Apache backups. So when he was using SSH to try to get in. So we'll definitely copy this guy and put him in the blacklist, put it here, and I'm gonna just say SSH. That's the entry he was trying to get into. I'm gonna put him in the blacklist here. So now I have his IP in the blacklist, and he'll be automatically blocked. Any attempt, even if he types in, he or she types in the correct username and password, they're not going to be able to get in because they are on the blacklist right now. So let's see next one. Okay, over here you can assign different services and ports. You can, let's say, you can say here SSHD, which is the SSH access, and then you can, let's say, put an IP address or IP address or several IP addresses separated by comma, and you can say here allow. For example, my IP was, let's go back here, we just whitelisted our IP, so I'm going to take my IP here and just double check this is my IP. IP4. Okay, yeah, that's my IP, that's okay. Back to here, we copied that IP, we're gonna go here. I'm gonna put SSHD, giving myself access. Over here, I'm gonna say allow. And I can say here, home. Okay, external authentication. Okay, no external authentication is enabled here, but I will allow to use individual because I will have several accounts under the web host manager. I will have several CPanel accounts. Specifically, this dedicated server has a CPanel license for 100 accounts, so I can create up to 100 hosting accounts and host as many websites as I want on this one. So if I give access to someone else to one CPanel account, I want them to be able to access the web files through that one specific cPanel account, which, like I said, I could have up to 100. So I will be enabling this one, and people will be able to log in to their CPanel account and access their web files instead of going to the web host manager. So I'm gonna keep this on. Okay, manage root SSH keys. Over here you will create keys for your SSH access, and some of the keys will be saved here in Web Host Manager, and other keys will be saved on your computer, and when a secure connection is established, it will be done by those keys connecting. So I'm not gonna set up any of those now. I'm going through the basic settings, and we will have this in a subsequent video to show how this is done. Over here you don't have to touch anything. Over here, same thing. You're just gonna leave the default values. Over here, you can create specific rules to secure by which we will let ourselves or others into our server. I have not used that before, and I'm not going to do anything with it right now. If I'm going to do any later on, I will make a subsequent video. So we're still going through the basic settings of Web Host Manager. Okay, this is also some security rules which have been defined by this project, OWASP, which these rules have been just imported. This vendor is not installed. This is actually not installed, but is available for us. That if we click install, we will install these rules that are already predefined in this package. But I have not done this before. I'm not gonna mess with it now. So just keep going to the next setting, the next link. Over here, this is a setting how strong we want to force the users to set their password, which strength is like 65, it's halfway there. So we can set different values for different services. So let's say if you want to have a very strong SSH key, we can put it here to 100. I mean, if nothing is set, if it's default, it's going to be this value. But we can change it here to some other value, and let's say we want 100% secure password, and this will be applied to this service. And any other service, we can change it here or leave it default. Okay, over here we have these several things. I have not set those before, and if I'm going to change any of that or install, I'll make a subsequent video as well on these settings. Security question is just the question that you will use in case you need to recover your password. You don't remember your password, you will have to answer the security question to get the password reset link. So that's self-explanatory. I'm not going to dwell on that one. Then we have shelf-work protection denies users who have terminal access SSH telnet the ability to use all the resources on the server. To prevent server crashes, do not allow unlimited resource allocation. Okay, right now this thing is not enabled. It is disabled, but actually it should be enabled. I'm not going to enable it right now because I'm still in the initial walkthrough to the whole host manager, so I'm not going to limit myself with anything right now, and I might enable this later on when I start using SSH. SMTP restrictions, this is for the email. Prevents user bypassing the email server. Right now this is already enabled, so I'm not gonna worry about that. It's already enabled, and it should work fine. This ensures that the emails that are sent from your server are actually not being used by spammers to spam the internet, but can be only used by you and your accounts. Sometimes the spammers, they can hijack your server and use your server as a gateway to send emails by spamming other email accounts, and then get your IP or your domains blacklisted, and then you'll have problems sending emails and might have problems doing other things with your domain as well. SSH password authentication. This is currently enabled. Okay, yeah, we will keep this on right now, and once we create the SSH keys, we will disable this password authentication, because right now we will be able to SSH into the server using a password only, and obviously a shell command or a command window. But they say it is better to disable this, not allowing SSH in via password, because someone might get hold of your password and get into the server. But if you set up those keys, which we said we're going to set up later, then only you or a person with the keys can log into the server, which makes your server much more secure. This is a trace route which is enabled. If somebody runs a trace and goes over your server will respond to the request, returning its IP. Not gonna dwell on that one. Two-factor authentication. This would be a good idea if we set this up later on. Not gonna do it right now in the initial setup, but later on when we tighten our security on the server, it would be probably a good idea to enable this and have two-factor authentication, maybe using a password and one-time code that might be sent to our phone or email or something like that. So we might return to this one later on in another video. Contact manager. Okay, over here we have already set our email and our phone number, and then we can also add our Slack ID, and we can add our ICQ chat handle or something, and then also we can add I don't know what that is now. Is this a website or something else? Not sure what this is, but anyway, SMS we can receive because we have our email, we have our phone number, and email we can receive. Since we have our email, that's for now is enough. If you want to add more, you can add more later, but you know, essential is those two. System mail preferences. This is already like set when to our email here, whatever CPanel has to send notifications will be sent to our email. Email which is not defined will automatically go to root, and our root email is again our email. So any email that's supposed to go to root or it's undefined will be sent to our own email. All of this will be rerouted to our own email. Server contents that I lost where I was. I was two-factor authentication. I was here. Okay. Contact manager, we went through that one. Email preferences, we went to that one. Change ownership of an account. Right now we don't have any accounts. But once we have accounts, they're gonna show up here, and our users will show up here. Then we can assign different accounts to different users. Our domains will be showing up here. Okay, password modification. Let's see. The same thing, we don't have any accounts, and the password modification will let us change the password on the individual CPanel accounts or individual hosting accounts. Each CPanel is like a hosting account where you hold your web files and other files, right? So let's say you have 10 CPanel accounts, they will show up here, and you can change password to each of them. Let's say you have 10 people working with you, and each of them has access to one CPanel. You can change these passwords here for them. Quota modification is just we can assign specific disk quota for each account. Let's say if you have 1 terabyte, you have 1 terabyte of disk space, and you want to distribute that on 10 accounts. Everyone will get 100 gigabytes of space if you want to distribute all the space among 10 accounts. So everyone will get 100 gigabytes. That will make 1 terabyte. They don't have to be same, they can be also different. Whatever your needs are, whatever the account needs, you can assign that much quota to it. Over here, we'll have Apache logs for our different domains. Every domain that has a website will have its own log. They will be listed here. Your domains, domain 1, domain 2, domain 3, domain 4, they'll be listed here, and you'll just select the domain that you want to log for its Apache. You download it, and then you can examine. You can examine the log. Rearrange an account. Did we just cover this? Modify. That was modify account. This modify account. Modify account was modify account was when you want to change, let's say you want to use a new IP on an account. You want to change the old IP to a new IP, so you'll be able to do that here. But then rearrange account, I think over here in rearrange account you can actually switch the accounts to different users. Not sure. Account bandwidth limit. You can set the bandwidth, how much traffic you will allow per account for a specific time period. I guess for a month or so. So you could modify this over here. But right now, if you have a package defined, it will be defined by the package. So when you create a new, if you have a package defined, that means these are preset rules, and when you create a new CPanel account, it will take automatically that from the package, like the default values. But then if you want to change it on the individual pages, they're going to be probably listed here, and then you can change the bandwidth to some other values besides the default. Skeleton directory. This is when you're creating a new CPanel account. Then it will copy this directory to that new CPanel account and create a new account for that CPanel account. Which means with this CPanel license, you can create up to 100. Terminate accounts, that's self-explanatory. Let's say you have 10 accounts, they're going to be listed here, and you want to delete one of them, you can just click over here. You're going to have remove button, you just click remove and you delete them. Okay, when an account exceeded its bandwidth for the given month or time period, they will appear here, and then you can basically unlock them. You can probably then unlock them here to to allow them for more bandwidth. Over here again, you can upgrade or downgrade account. You'll be able to change the accounts will be listed here and be able to change the values of the package. Okay, this is where you create a placeholder page. When you create a new account, you can have that page generated here. So it will be automatically generated for that account, and you can change the looks over here. You can preview how that looks like. Okay, this is how it looks like. It looks familiar to me. I have seen this many times. But you can basically put whatever content you want over here. Let's say you have your personal profile or something. You wanna add links to your Facebook or to your LinkedIn or YouTube channel or something. You can list that as well here, and people, they can go to your profile and follow you or something while they're waiting for your website to become alive. And once this page is gone, now they can visit the page. They can visit your website. But if they have visited before your website was up, they can just follow you and maybe find out from you when your website is up and running. So next one is convert island domain to account. There are some settings missing here, because these settings they are called multi-account functions. They have to do with IP addresses and accounts. But this is missing right now because I have only one IP right now. I have 4 more IPs that need to be assigned to this server. And when I create the CPanel accounts, these IPs and accounts will be listed, under that subsection which is missing right now. So over here, convert add-on domain to account. Over here, you will have listed all your domains, or you can basically, I assume, you can convert that domain to account and create a website under that domain. So they'll just use that domain and make a CPanel account. I've not used it before. If I test it out, I'll make a subsequent video on that one. Skip convert island to account. Okay, there is supposed to be one more link over here. That one is missing because I don't have any accounts in this web host manager right now. There should be another link saying copy an account from another server with account password, where you can basically transfer from another server into this server. You can copy an account, which will then appear under this web host manager. Transfer or restore CPanel account. I assume over here from here we can also export or import account settings from another server. I have not used it before. I might use it on this server, but that will be shown in subsequent video if I do that. So transfer tool, you can provide here server IP address, SSH port. Then you can use the password which this server is right now using, but later on you can use this setting. It's not going to allow me right now because there are no SSH keys defined. Once we define them, then we'll have this option to be able to use this option. And then once we have this option, we'll be able to select the encryption algorithm which we're going to use. When we click this, that will be expanding, and we can use different encryption algorithms. Then next one, over here right now we only have this one theme installed, so we cannot change the looks of the host manager because we only have this one theme installed. Oh, I skipped. Over here we have different themes here. Actually, we need to upload those themes. I don't have any. So next. Okay, this is now a package. These are the settings which are used. You can create different settings and call it by different names. When you're creating a new CPanel account, you can then use you can select which package you want by going by those different names, and then different names will have different settings, and whatever your needs are for that account, you will choose appropriate package. So right now this is the default. This is the default package. I'm not going to change any of that, nor will I create new ones. For now, I'm just going to use the default package. When you have more than one package, the default is by default already there, but if you add new 1, new 2, new 3, they're going to appear here, and then you can delete them. In case you want to delete them, you can do that here. In case you want to modify them, you'll be able to modify. Right now, we only have the default ones, like I said. And the default one, I'm not going to change anything. I'm just going to leave as is. Actually, let's see. Yeah, I'm not gonna do anything here right now. Feature manager. I have not messed with this before, so I'm not going to touch any of that right now. DNS zone. Again, this will be your accounts will be listed here, and you'll be able to write IPS and then I want to add the zone. You'll be able to add a DNS zone to the account, but the thing is, when you're adding a new domain under any of your CPanel accounts that you have, a DNS file will be automatically created. So I guess this is another way to create it in a different way, but I don't think we should worry about this right now. again, this is the one IP that we use in host name. So you'll see different number here on your web host manager. But we could add more entries here. Let's say we could have different IPs and keep adding more IPs to this same host name. We could access this host name via different IPs. Delete DNS zone over here. We have our DNSs for different domains listed. You can search for them if you have many. Then we can select and just delete. Right now I don't have any. Again, DNS zone manager, we don't have any domains, we don't have nothing here. We have not added any domains. Edit DNS zone will be editing the file. Edit MX entry is editing DNS settings for the mail settings. Zone templates over here. Again, there will be like different templates that are used for when creating the DNSs. I believe over here you see when a domain has only a entry, we'll use this template. When it has IP address park domains and add-on domains, will use standard. And domains on a shared IP addresses will use this one. So in our case, this one will be the most used one. Over here are settings where we can enable DKIM and SPF globally. These entries are used in the DNS for authentication of the SMTP message, which is the email. And it is recommended to set those up also for spam prevention and misuse of your server by hackers for sending emails. This will help the receiving server authenticate that the messages that you are sending are actually coming from your server, and anyone else who's trying to spoof your IP and use your hijack your server to send emails, you're gonna have a hard time if you have a hard time delivering those messages through your server if you set this up correctly. I'm not gonna do this right now, but I will definitely come back to this one because this is very important. It's important also not just for email. It improves email delivery. It also protects your server and your IP from becoming coming on the blacklist because of hackers. Name server record report. Obviously we don't have nothing here because we don't have any domains right now. This feature reports information about the name servers. When you have domains, you can have your own name servers. Let's say domain 1 will have NS1 domain 1 and let's say NS2 domain1.com. These could be your name servers, or you could use the default name servers. It's up to you. I'm not gonna go into that right now. I might talk about it a little bit more in a subsequent video. Park a domain. Over here you will have listed your domains. Let's say I added 10 domains, they're going to be listed over here, or actually over here. And then you know, if you're not using that domain right now, you don't have a website on it, you can just park that domain. Click domain and you hit here, you'll park that domain, and then you submit. And now let's say domain3.com is parked, and when you go and open domain.3.com, domain3.com, it will show you some of these default web pages with a bunch of links or something, and it will say this domain is parked, or you know, even you might put it up for sale. This domain is for sale, something like that. You can create your own default page, like before we saw that we can create a different page for domains that you want to sell. And you could, you know, park that domain and also make it known that someone can purchase it if interested. DNS cleanup. This program will clean up your name configuration file and remove any duplicate entries. Make sure you are not editing any name server configuration files during the cleanup. Okay. Sometimes the DNS got messed up and has multiple entries that are not needed anymore, or even duplicate ones. So this utility would do a cleanup. But you know, if you're not doing much, you just create the standard DNS with the standard templates. I don't see a big need for this. That's probably needed, you know, when you're dealing with a lot of accounts, a lot of domains, and doing a lot of changes to those domains. Then this might come handy. But you know, in our case, where we might use up to 10 accounts and maybe 100 domains, I don't think we have a great need for this, for using this functionality right now. Reset DNS zone. I guess this will reapply the whatever the template that was used to create it would reapply, probably something like the cleanup thing, but just instead of removing, cleanup thing would remove the unnecessary things and duplicate things, and the reset would just recreate a new DNS file, which means like restarting a computer or something. When your computer runs slow and you close, let's make an analogy. So the DNS cleanup would be like you using your computer and becomes slow, and now you have many applications open, you start closing the applications, right? So this is the DNS cleanup. And DNS reset would be like your computer running slow. You don't want to mess with all these programs that are running in the background. You just restart your computer, right? And now your computer, when it restarts, works nicely again until it becomes slow again. So set time to live. This is, I believe, default value 3600, which will be used in one of your in your DNS entries. So that's just a standard number. I would not. That's in seconds. So that's 1 hour. I would not change this value. This is the default value that's used in the DNS in most cases. So I would not mess with that. Over here you can create a domain forwarding. Right now, obviously, it's not going to let me do it because I don't have not even one domain in my host manager added right now. So synchronize DNS records. I have not used this ever. Synchronize DNS zones ensures all servers in the cluster. Okay, we're not going to need that, because this is when you have server clusters, when you have load balancer and stuff, where you use several servers, let's say for your one website or several websites. Then this one, it's actually synchronizing the DNS records. Let's say I'm changing the DNS record here right now, and then I have two additional servers. Then I could, add the domains or IPs or something, and then have the changes affect these other two servers. So this is not something we're going to use. Additional MySQL access host. Normally, you have your MySQL database or Maria database. You have it in your CPanel account, which is going to be tied to your server here. But in case you want to have an external one, a separate one, which is actually a good idea if you can do that. It helps keep data, separate from the web server. But not many people do that. I mean, if you have the resources and you have a team that manages this, then yeah, maybe. But if you do it yourself, most likely you're not going to use this. But here you could add additional hosts with the proper username and password, and then you would have access to those databases also from within your CPanel accounts or your websites on those CPanel accounts. Over here you will have, when you have different databases, you will create different users. You'll have them listed here, where you can then select, let's say, my database 1, you select my database 1, and then my database user 1 is selected here, and then you change the password. And then if you're running WordPress websites, in order for that to work, you'll need also to edit your wp-config.php file and change that database password, whatever you have put in here. Otherwise, your website will not work. Database map tool. Over here again, we don't have any CPanel accounts. They will be listed here. Let's say we have 10, they'll be listed here, and then you'll have allows you to assign ownership of database and database users to specific CPanel accounts. This ownership is retained in the internal mapping of databases of users and will allow management of the databases from within the owner's CPanel interface. So over here, if you have some shared databases, you'll be able to share a database, let's say from CPanel domain 1 to share it with CPanel domain 2 and so on. So you'll have ability to do that over here. Again, you'll have listed database users over here, and then you'll be able to rename that user to another name and also reset the password to another password. So you can do both of these functionalities, to rename the user and change the password. Again, over here will be listed databases. We don't have any right now. Over here we will have, actually this is the default one. Which is not even activated, but this is the default MySQL profile, which is probably used when a new MySQL database is created. So MySQL root password, the previous passwords that we have seen, they are for individual databases. You know, there are several databases, let's say, tied to a CPanel account, depending how many websites you have. Let's say you have one CPanel, one account with 3 databases. With 3 websites, you will have 3 databases. Each website will have its own database, right? So, and in order for the website to have access to that database, your WP config file will hold that password and username. So when your website is running, these credentials are used to connect to the database and get the data that's displayed in the website, right? And for that, we have seen the functionality where you can set the password. This password, root password, will allow us to log in to the MySQL server and see all the databases from all websites. So this is a very powerful one, because we will have access to all of them. So make sure this one is, you protect this password. You protect this password and keep it safe somewhere. Over here, we might have different types of MySQL. We have MariaDB, and this is actually the one I used on my old server, and actually I will change to that one. So this one is installed, but this one is recommended, I guess. If I continue, I'll be installing this one. So the upgrade script has checked your system to see if an upgrade is possible. This time the system encountered warning specific to your configuration. Please click the checkbox next to warning to indicate that you understand potential consequences. Okay, enable strict mode by default. Okay. Okay, I will definitely do this because right now I did not add any CPanels, nor any domains, nor any websites. So I want to do this before, because to be compatible with my websites when I transfer them from my old server to this one. And I'm going to do an unattended upgrade. I don't want to worry about this. I want the system to do it for me. So let's see how long this takes. We're already at the last step, so it shouldn't take too long. does take some time. Okay, the upgrade completed successfully. It took 2-3 minutes for it to finish, but right now it says MariaDB upgrade successful. So we are over here. If you click on it again, now it shows that we installed the recommended version. And now the other ones are not showing because they're kind of less. You don't want to downgrade. You already have the best one, so you don't want to go from a horse to a mule. We have a horse right now, so we can continue. Over here, phpMyAdmin will open a new window and will actually this would be the one interface which will open all of our databases. So let's say we have 10 CPanel accounts with 10 websites each. That's 100 websites. Each website has one MySQL account. So we have 100 databases that would all show up here, right? From all of our accounts. So that's this phpAdmin. If you open phpAdmin from the CPanel, it will open just let's say the 10 websites that you have in that CPanel account. So, and this interface would need the root that we just mentioned before. We would need the root, the MySQL root password, right? While the individual ones will have their individual database passwords. Repair MySQL database. Sometimes our database gets corrupt, and this utility will list our databases. If we have a problem with a specific database and a specific website, then we can select that database here and repair it, and then probably we'll fix any corrupted data in there. We'll at least make the database working again for your website. MySQL processes, that is going to show which processes are running for MySQL right now. There is not much going on because we don't have any. So we see which processes are assigned to which user here. To our root user, we have process ID 31 assigned. Over here, we can add new IP address. Let's say I purchased with this server, like I have 5 IPs. So I should be able to add 4 more IPs over here. But I'm not going to do that right now because I don't even know what these IPs are. I just got this one with the web host manager set up. I need to see what the remaining 4 are. Same thing here, the IP address was IPv4. Over here, you'll be assigning IPv6 addresses. In case you need that. You might not need that right now. So this might be something you have to worry about a little bit later. Configure remote service IPs. I guess I'm not going to open the documentation right now. It might be that you have additional servers that are running some services that you don't have here, might be some specialized one, and then over here you might be able to save those IPs and later on assign access to those services and those servers. I'm going to go through this one quickly. Okay, if you have several IPs on this server, you can select which IPs you don't want to make available for CPanel or website setup. Let's say you have 11 domains, but there is one that you don't want to let be used for any websites. Then you just check that one and save, and that one will be reserved for whatever reason. You need it reserved for some other services you want to use that IP for. AZ Apache 4. This is a configuration here where you can customize certain aspects of the Apache server. See what we have here. I'm going to compare with my old servers to see, because I know I changed some settings in my old server. I just want to make sure I set those. I changed those over here as well. So PHP plus Apache. Over here I have Apache 2.4, PHP 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, and PHP Ops. I have the same thing. ZenGuard, same thing. CPanel defaults, Apache 2.4 and PHP 7.2 and 3, same thing. CPanel default, Apache 2.4 and 7.2, 7.3 PHP. Okay, no PHP, Apache 2.4 and no PHP. Same thing, Ruby, Apache 2.4. Passenger 5.1, Node 10.15. Yes, and CPanel will work. Apache 2.4, PHP 7.2 and 7.3, that's the same. Then I have converted from the IP profile Apache. I have one additional over there on the old one, but I don't know what that is. Gonna download it from there and just save it just in case. Okay, I saved that one additional one that I had on my old server over here. I exported, I downloaded the configuration, so in case I need to add it here, I can just import it. Next one, Perl module. There are already like several modules installed. On my old server I had a little bit more, maybe 3 to 4 times more as here. But right now I'm not gonna mess with this. I'm just gonna leave the default RPM. There's some package manager. Several packages available to install. I'm not gonna mess with that either right now because I don't think I need any. It's probably for some other applications. but for my WordPress websites I don't need those. Then modules. So these are already available. If you're running Ruby on Rails, you have these Ruby gems here. Let's see what we have here. Anyhow, these are already installed. We definitely need this one for our sites, and maybe this one. Not sure about this one. PHP editor. Go to PHP editor over here. We can see some extensions that we can enable or disable for different PHP versions that we have installed here. Let's see. PHP I had on my old one. I had this one enabled. This option enables the URL aware fopen wrappers to enable accessing URL objects like files. Default wrappers are provided for the access of remote files using the FTP or PHP protocol. Some extensions like zlib might register additional wrappers. I'm not going to change this. I'm going to leave it as default. Same for the 7.3 option. And we have here for these PHP options, we have upload max file size 2 mega, which is kind of low. It's kind of low, and because there are many plugins that are over 2 megabytes. There are themes that are like 20 megabytes, 30 megabytes, 10 megabytes, 5 megabytes. None of those will be able to be uploaded to your WordPress website if we leave this setting over here. Actually, we can leave this setting over here, 2 mega, to be default for all of our websites. But then with PHP ini files, we can override for individual website. We can upload. I'll show you those files later on. We can upload, and we can change this one for individual sites to be, let's say, we can put here 10 or 20 or 30 or even 50 megabytes. But once we are done with setting up the website, maybe it would be a good idea to remove these PHP and ini files to have this default kick in again, and to just limit it to 2 megabytes. I mean, it's up to you, but that would be maybe something that would be my approach. Multi-PHP manager. Over here, we will have listed our domains listed, and they'll probably inherit this setting, which PHP version to use. You know, they're probably just gonna you know, use either this one or the latest one, and then to all of them will be applied this version. So if you have a stable version, which you know it's going to work fine with your websites, you can just apply this one to all of them. And then in case some website needs the previous version, you can, when they're listed here, you can just change that one website to another PHP version. So you can, over here, you can do global setting, and then over here you can change it on an individual website level. I don't think we need to mess with this since I'm not using any RPMs. The server update. This will update all packages to the latest version. So it might even remove some unnecessary packages that are not needed anymore after the update. So I would say, if you ever use this, use it with caution, or make sure you have backed up your websites and everything, because this, the functionalities like these, they might affect a lot of things. So I rather not use them. Update server software. I mean, I rather not use them on a regular basis, but when you have to upgrade, you have to upgrade. But you make sure you have all the backups and everything, saved before you do that, in case something goes wrong, you can revert back to the previous backup. Same thing here. This will upgrade your CPanel and Web Host Manager with the new software packages. Also, use with caution. Email deliverability. See, it says problems do exist because we have here we can say here SPF record is generated. Reverse, I would just say let's try this reverse PTR record. I'm going to say install the suggested one. It says it failed. Okay, let's try the DKIM, generate the DKIM key. If I try to install, if you send email from another server, you must use this service. I'm not sending email from another server. So let me make a note of this one. Make a note of this one. I'm going to see if it's leaking. So in case I use another server, which means I might definitely use another server. If you're using like MailChimp or GetResponse or some of these, I'm not sure if I have to double check this one. I'm gonna try to install it. It did not went through. Okay, I'm gonna look into that later. I didn't have this properly set up on my previous server, so I'll need to look into this one, because this is very important for the reasons we already discussed previously, for the email deliverability and also preventing hackers from hijacking our mail server. Filter incoming emails by country. Right now, looks like we're gonna have all of these guys. Probably around 250 countries allowed, which is, all the countries of the world. What I have noticed is oftentimes emails that are supposedly coming from China and from Russia will send a lot of spam. So if that would be the case, what we can do here, we can just, let's say, bam, disable. So your server will now block messages that originate in China. Okay. Similar we can do, similar we can do with Russia. I'm receiving a lot of spam. For example, whatever other country you want to block it, you see you're receiving a lot of emails, spam emails from those countries, and for example, you don't have customers from there, you're not serving them. You can just block it here, just disallow it here, and you're done. Okay, filter incoming emails by domain. We can also do it by domain. When talking about China and Russia, for example, I used to get a lot of emails. What was that? You can do just for let's say this was one top level domain. I was receiving a lot of emails from whatever email.ru. Now, any email from Russia will be blocked. Any email that has a top level domain .ru. This is just giving you as an example right now. You can leave this empty, or you can add any other top level domain country. Whatever, if you see you're receiving a lot of spam emails from a specific country, you can come here, a previous screen that I showed, or over here, and block them. Gray list. Similar like CP Hulk, this gray list allows CP Hulk deals with IP addresses, people trying to log into a server, and this gray list thing is a service that deals with emails. Now, here you can add trusted hosts that you always want to receive emails from them. You can see here common mail providers, and you can either trust or not trust them. You can uncheck if you don't trust them, and then you can see reports over here. So this will be once you start sending and receiving emails, then you'll see these reports here. Then also mail delivery reports. You'll be able to download these reports from here. You run the report from between specific dates, and then we'll be able to see those reports in here. Mail queue manager over here, you'll see some emails which are in the queue and might be scheduled to be sent out later or something. Mail queue manager, mail troubleshooter. You can, if some customers complaining they're not receiving your mails, you can trace them here. Let's say I'm gonna say info@marketing.com. I can trace that email. And it appears that everything is, I don't see any exclamation points. It appears that the mail is fine, but in case it's not, you're probably going to see some errors with this icon exclamation point, and then you can look into it, what it is, and maybe you can contact the mail server administrator and see what's going on. Mailbox conversion. So you can use this tool to convert the format of accounts mailboxes format. Okay. I guess I'm not sure if these are like the different mailbox interfaces that you can use, because in CPanel you'll have like round cube and what was the other one? Round cube and I forgot the other one name. But you have basically like two. I'm not sure if this pertains to that one or something else. Mailbox conversion. I'm assuming that's when they convert the file to be read in one or the other. Repair mailbox permissions. This will inspect mailbox ownership and permissions and attempt to fix any issues that might exist. Again, probably, dealing with file corruptions is something this might be able to fix. The mailbox that might have become corrupted. SpamD startup configuration. That's a service that runs on your server to check for spam emails and probably marks them as spam in case it hits its triggers. But over here you can following option will be used upon execution. Restrict connections. Okay, over here you can restrict the connections to, let's say, the mail server or this server where you host your websites. I did not really use that before, so I have to look into this one, how to use this functionality. But SpamD is scanning your emails and putting them in a spam folder in case it assumes it is spam. Mail statistics summary. Over here you can see, like, this is not much data here right now because it's a new server, but yeah, you'll be able to see some email stats. How many messages, how many delivered, per hour, what day, what time of the day you're receiving the most emails, which messages will really relate to your Gmail account. Top 50 senders by how many messages they send, top senders by volume, how much they send, and then by destination by message count, destination by volume, and so on. So all different metrics that you'll be able to analyze your mail with. Release. Okay, let's see. Let's see if there's anything. Well, actually, there is two releases already, although the server is just from today. Send summary, this will be 0 because I did not send any emails unless the server sent new emails to my email, and they did. Total messages 5. So for some reason they had 2 successes and 3 failures in this one, and then so the system was sending and had failed too because I have to see why. I have to see why this happened. I have to look into that one. Background process killer. If you see, you can have some. If you see that some process taking too much resources, maybe you can just kill that process and then restart it. So it takes a load off of your server. Process manager. Over here, all the processes that are running on the server are listed. Then over here, you can kill them too. Over there, in the previous one, you would have to know the PID, right? The PID here, the process ID, and then you can actually. I'm not sure how this works. Anyway, you can do the process killing right here by clicking this kill link. Show current disk usage. Okay, that will show how much disk you have available, how much you're using. In my old one, I just had 1 partition. Over here, I had several partitions. So this is also some system settings here. 1/3 almost used, and then over here is the one for the CPanels, 45 gigs, where your CPanel accounts will be stored, and then over here where your web files are going to be stored in different home directories. Let's say home /home /cpanel1 account /cpanel2 account /cpanel3 account. So over here again, current running processes, you can see them here, and what command line they're using to run this process. This is the command line, and this is the file with the path to the file shown. So anyway, when you're killing a process, again, you can restart it with, let's say if I kill this process 752 on the previous screen, I can restart it by running this command in the terminal, either an SSH window or inside the terminal over here, the black window that we had before, that I showed previously. Change log. Right now it's a new server, so whenever there are new updates to the server, they will be listed here by date and by log number or update number. Custom branding. Now, this interface is to customize the branding and style that users see when they access the CPanel interface. You can also use this interface to modify your hosting company's public content information. So that means you can put your own company name here, you can put your own logo, you can customize the style, you can use these different templates. And you can also change the public contact here. I said that this CPanel account allows for 100 CPanel accounts. Let's say if I want to subcontract an account CPanel, and if I put my information here and my logo, when they log into CPanel, they'll not see CPanel, they'll see, let's say, my logo, my company logo, and whatever I put here. Which is a nice thing. If you have a, if you made a website with funnels, with products, and someone wants to lease it, let's say if you make niche websites and someone wants to lease your, I don't know, let's say you made a website for roofers and you're running some advertisements, and this website gets a lot of visits and a lot of bookings. You can rent it to roofers for a year, and then they have access to the web and to the, if you want to give them access, so they can add their own information or something like that to the website if you want to give them that access, or you can do that for them. Whatever the case is, you will have a backup copy for yourself in case something gets messed up. You can reinstall the original one if somebody messes up the files of the websites. CP add-on, okay. You'll have some options to install additional CPanel software. I have not used this before, but I might have to use this one in the future. I will in case I will explain what this is. But as far as I know, for now, it's just like if you're managing multiple CPanel accounts and so on, then you can do some kind of automation replication from one place. I'll have to look into it. I know this is used for some repetitive tasks and application or something, but I'm not gonna mess with that right now. CP add-on site software. Nothing here. It says we have deprecated the moderation feature and will remove it in the future. You cannot enable moderation. So that means they're getting rid of this one. They're just still showing it for some reason. Plugins. These are not WordPress website plugins. These are plugins for the CPanel. So I know we're going to need this guy here, because he will look for viruses. So I'm definitely going to install this one. So when I create a new CPanel account, then this guy will be monitoring that CPanel account. We have installed the Clam antivirus 1.010.55. Okay, that will be included now in our installs. I believe in our CPanel installs it will be included. Calendar and contacts server description. Calendar contacts. I have not had this before in my old server, so I have to see what it is. Implements calendar day and card day protocols. These protocols are standard compliant. So allows users to store and edit calendar copy information. Okay, these are these calendar files which you can download and store. Calendar file and card file. When when people have these standardized card files with their email, with their phone number, other contact information, and so on. But the calendar is then again where you can transfer specific appointments and stuff. So I have to look into that also. I kind of like this idea, but I'll see if I'm gonna use this on a server basis, because I already have a appointment scheduling software for my websites. So I'm not sure how this will play into it. I have to see how this works to see if I have any use for it, or if this might replace my website scheduling software. I doubt it, but I'll look into it, and in case I do anything with it, I'll make a video about it. Modify CPanel, WHM news. Set up messages that you want your user and reseller to see. Enter your text in the following text boxes. Make certain to use HTML tags and break text to break lines. Okay, these are some messages you want people who have access to your cPanels to see. And you can then keep updating stuff here. You can add more news, latest news about, or the latest messages that you want them to see. I have not used this before, but it might come handy if you're gonna have some cPanel users. Let's say you have 100 cPanel accounts, and let's say you're using 5 and you lease the other 95. It's easy way for them to see your messages. If you put them here, all 95 they're gonna see them, which might come handy. Mailman password. Okay, I'm not gonna mess with that one. I'm not even sure the mailman password where he's set on the server, and how they're gonna use that when sending emails. So I'm not gonna mess with that. Upgrade to latest version. What's CPanel to latest version? You'll be upgrading to the latest release version. Force reinstall even if the system is up to date. So sometimes when you upgrade, and some files might still get corrupted during the install and something is not working. Now you can use this feature to reinstall it again, although you already have the latest version. So this might come handy in case some corrupt files on the system. Generate SSL certificate signing request. I did not use this because I use this interface to generate both self-signed certificate and a certificate signing request for a domain. I don't really have use for this because I run auto SSL on the domains when I add new domain to a cPanel. I just run auto SSL, and within few minutes my domain is SSL secured. So I don't really have a use for this one. I don't know when you want to use this one. Install SSL certificate on the domain. Same thing here. Over here would be like a manual process of installing SSL certificate on a domain. I don't see why should I do that when I have a nice feature called Auto SSL here, which I can run and on any domain that I add to CPanel, and within a few minutes I have it SSL secured. Manage SSL hosts. There are no secure sites configured on the server. Once you have some of the websites installed and auto SSL run on those domains which have SSL secure them, then they're going to be listed here. These SSL certificate and everything, they're going to be listed, your domains and your IPs. You're going to have here domain, IP address type, and then a few other things, and then document root and owner, and a few other things when it expires and so on. Purchase and install SSL certificate. You don't have to do this because they'll come automatically with your cPanel. Since I don't have any cPanels installed, I don't have any websites installed, nothing is visible here. But let's say you have 10 cPanels installed, 10 different accounts will show here. And yeah, you don't have to do any purchases here if you have a cPanel. If you have a cPanel license. Maybe this is showing because I'm still in the trial. I guess this shows regardless, but you know, you don't really need this once you have the license. SSL Storage Manager. Okay, right now there should be actually also domains listed. Once you have websites, the domains should be listed. And I'm not sure if that has changed because the interface on my old one looks different than this one. Let's see when I have a cPanel and when I have some domains. Let's see how that's gonna look like. Market. Feature allows you to manage products that user might purchase via cPanel interface. For more information about this, create your own provider modules. I guess over here you'll be able to list some plugins and software that you make available for your cPanel users to purchase through the cPanel. So whatever you put in here, they'll be able to see in their cPanel and purchase this software if they need it. DNS server. This is just DNS server for restart. If something is not working right, you will with the redirecting or with your links, you might just restart the DNS server only instead of restarting the whole server. FTP server. Let me see. There's missing FTP server link here. And now HTTP server Apache. FTP server, it's missing probably. Maybe it's not enabled. I have to see. Once it's enabled, it should be over here. You can also restart. As you can restart the DNS server and Apache server, you should be able to restart the FTP server as well. We'll look into it. Once we have a cPanel account, we'll be able probably, once we have the first cPanel account, we should be able to add the FTP account to that cPanel, and then it will appear here. Okay, this is for Apache restart. IMAP server that has to do with email can also be restarted here. Mail server, same thing. Email can be restarted here. Mailing list manager, mailman, same thing. These are all services that can be restarted here in this interface. FTP, FPM, PHP FPM service for Apache can be also restarted. SQL Server can be restarted, and SSH server can also be restarted here. Now we have development apps managed by app config. I don't think you're going to need that at all. This is for CPanel developers. CPanel development form. I mean, if you're a developer, then yes, you might need it. But if you well, most likely are not. But if you are, then you have this form as well where you can get support. You can look for solutions if you have issues with CPanel or with your CPanel software that you developed. CPanel plugin file generator. Okay, looks like this one is generating the skeleton for CPanel plugin, which you can then use going in there, additionally develop and then deploy. Developer documentation again, reference if you want to do any development on CPanel. Manage API tokens, allow you to your server to log into your server without the need for password. You can use API tokens to authenticate with WHM remote IP. If you actually, I use this on my old server. I use this on my old server, and well, how was that working? I forgot. I really forgot. I know I was using this. This is different from having the key. When you have a key for SSH, you can log in. You can SSH from your command window directly without using a password, because you have a key on your computer which connects directly with the server without password. But over here with the API tokens, I forgot how I was using this. But I know I have a set up one of these tokens back in 2000. No. No, actually this one is August 2020, which means I did not use this. No, I did not use this one. Hooks. I have not used this either. Plugins. Configure scanner. Basically, we're just going to leave as is. Scan the entire home directory. That's the CPanel home directory, which also includes your web directory and website files. Scan email, that's understandable. Scan public FTP space. Scan public web space. We're going to leave this as is. Scan everything. What else do we have here? Polygons. That's pretty much it. There is no more settings here. So in about 2 hours, we went through all of these links here. Some of them I told you what they are, and some of them I did not. Let's go back to FTP to see server selection, Pro FTP. Okay, that's why it's not showing the FTP, because it's disabled here. Let me see over here. FTP. Pro FTP. I used Pro FTP. Pure FTPD. Faster login time, uses less memory, better security model, allows virtual user quotas, better compatibility with RAID system support for brute force protection. This one allows FTP access files, access control support, database control, highly configurable. This is recommended only if you require additional configuration flexibility. Idea for memory constrained systems, does not support TLS1. TLS1, it's an old secure protocol. I think TSL2 is now in use. Let me try this one. I used the first one before. So now it should be raw FTP log. It should give me more FTP options now. No? Restart successfully. Restart services. It's still not showing here. FTP is still not showing. Probably it will show once I have at least one CPanel account. Okay, 2 hours in, a little bit more than 2 hours, we went over all of these links in the left navigation. You can create a new account. You can put a domain as whatever username, password, and so on. It will use the default CPanel setting. Then once you have that, when you list the account, your CPanel will show here. So customize the inside package. Over here you can define different packages like we showed before. But right now we're just using the default package and CPanel is created. Reseller Center, I not use this one. I assume view and manage reseller accounts on your server. Resellers manage other CPanel accounts and can access CPanel. So if you have a sub resource of your CPanel licenses, then you can manage that here. Transfer tool. So I'll be probably using this to transfer some of my CPanel accounts from my old server to this server. Backup restoration, that's again, you can back up and restore your CPanel accounts on this server. Process manager, we saw these are the processes that are running on your server in background. Service manager, you can probably see what's going on with the services and restarting individual services that are available here that we've seen FTP, Apache, DNS, IMAP, mail, and so on. Show current disk usage, we have seen that. These are the different partitions we have available. And that's about it for right now. What my next steps are is to create my first CPanel account and start adding my websites, my domains and websites and everything else. I'll be making a separate video on that one. This video is called the first initial setup of WHM after you purchased a new server. I hope it helped you a little bit, and I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.